In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. I am your host, Sean Donnelly. I am still in Los Angeles, so this week we are sans my sidekick, Farrah Brooke. We have an amazing guest and another friend that's going to play the Farrah Brooke role. Steven is here, and also our guest for this week, my very good buddy, hilarious comedian, writes for James Corden. Please give it up for Jared Logan, everybody.
Hey, how's it going? Hello.
So basically, me and Jared, we've probably known each other not 10 years,
I
probably
moved to
8
New
years.
York in 2008, so we're probably at 9 years.
Wow, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah, and we've actually hung out a good amount since I've been here.
Yeah.
I did your podcast where we're taping very nicely. You let me use your gear to record my podcast this week.
Steven's gear, yes.
Steven's gear. Thank you, Steven. I'm in your very nice apartment, and we did a show together last night at a bowling alley where there was 6 people.
Where I just had a meltdown.
I had a meltdown, but I've been there as well.
I started screaming about the history of Constantinople, and nobody cared, and I really didn't know what I was talking about.
And all I could think of was just they might be giants the whole time you were doing that.
I know. That's all I could think about. I was trying to talk about the history of Constantinople in my act, and I just kept wanting to say Istanbul, it's
not
Constantinople.
yeah.
That's all I wanted to do, too.
Yeah,
That was running through my head, too.
So thank you so much for doing the show, man. You know how the show works. If you guys haven't listened to the show before, what I do is usually it's mostly been comedians. I had one buddy of mine who's an artist. My friend Jay did the show, but comedian comes on and you defend a movie that you love or you like a lot that nobody else really likes. It's a guilty pleasure movie.
Yes.
It's very hard. It should be very hard to defend, so you should have these really, hopefully, unique reasons that you might want to defend it, but it's also very lighthearted. You know the drill. You know what it is. And this week, you are defending a movie that I just watched for the first time right before I came to your apartment.
Good.
Which is The Da Vinci Code with Tom Hanks.
Excellent. I love that you just watched it.
I know.
I've seen it all the way through twice. And today I brushed up on it.
Okay.
What did you think?
If I had to say overall, I didn't like it.
Good. Yeah,
I'll tell
perfect
you
for the. Hey, that works out great for us.
For the podcast, yeah. Well, it didn't do well. I think it has. I looked it up on. I think Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's at like 28%. But on our podcast, like before, like we always say, we have a problem with Rotten Tomatoes because I think it's a numbers game. So depending on the movie, you have more reviews that could bump up or bump down your average considerably.
Well, what does it do generally?
I feel
like it would bump
there's
down
movies
your
that
average.
have it would bump. No. It's because one time we did a movie called Gotcha, and Gotcha was a movie with Anthony Edwards from the 80s about paintball. Do you remember that movie?
No.
It was so bad.
Oh wait, is it based on the gotcha guns that you could buy?
You mean the game? The
Yeah.
Nintendo game? No, it came out before that.
No. The Nintendo game was based on an actual brand of kids paintball
Kids
guns
paintball?
with this disappearing ink.
I think that's what started it. It was the first one of the trivia things on IMDb is that it was the first movie to feature paintball. That's what it was like that's a credit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No other movie had the balls to feature paintball
In the future,
before Gotcha.
In the future, some harried scholar will be like, I must find the first film to feature paintball for my thesis.
And then he gets here it is. Here's the DVD of Gotcha. He's like, finally,
Yes.
finally, I've got it.
My theory is correct.
So we did that, and just to give you an idea, that has like a 50-something% Rotten Tomatoes, or it has way higher than you'd think because it's not a good movie.
But it has like 3 reviews, and one guy liked it, or 2 guys.
Exactly. And it's very hard to find reviews from 1984, whenever it came out. 1983. Actually, it might have been 85 that it came out.
Also, with Rotten Tomatoes, don't they look at the review and decide whether it was good or bad, and then just hit a button?
Yeah,
and that's not fair because, I'm a huge Roger Ebert fan. I've read hundreds of Roger Ebert reviews. I have his books, and he often doesn't say whether. He often doesn't make a good or bad decision. He goes,
he's not
it's
giving you a
trying to do
rating.
this. It doesn't really succeed at this part, but it really does well here. If you like this, you'll like it. Like it's not.
Which is way fair.
Reviews
That's
are
way
not
more fair.
reviews are not a light switch.
It's not like he's giving it like 4 buckets of popcorn. It's
Exactly.
not like one of those. Like,
no, that's what he did kind of on his TV show, but
it was
not
thumbs
in
up,
his-
thumbs down.
Yeah.
But even that's a more general thing than being like, we give it 3 out of 5 movie seats or 3 out of 5 film strips, whatever it is. And they used to have. You remember watching that show? That was like groundbreaking stuff. Him and Siskel.
Siskel and Ebert.
They used to get to
I
like.
loved to watch Siskel
It
and
was
Ebert
great
as a kid.
It was awesome. It was also the most passive aggressive thing ever. They kept it.
They hated each
They
other.
hated each other, and they kept it together on the edited versions. But when you see those outtakes, it's unbelievable. They're just insulting each other's intelligence.
Have you seen the documentary about Ebert, Life Itself?
No.
Oh, yeah, you got to check it out because it has all these
Wait.
outtakes like you're talking about.
I have seen it. I have seen that. I
Okay.
watched it. Yes.
Okay, it's so good. And, but you're right. Like, they said thumbs up or thumbs down. So if Rotten Tomatoes was going by that, they could figure it out. But most
Right.
people don't review like that.
Most people don't review like that, and most people now are like you said, this aspect you might like in the movie, this aspect. And that's why, even that fits into the podcast. Like, even when I watch it, there's things I liked about it. Like, I'll tell you, there's a lot of things I didn't like about it. But what it is, Da Vinci Code is a movie based on the Dan Brown book that was hugely, probably sold 1 billion copies.
Unreadable book. I mean, like, if you have read 5 good books,
Yeah.
you will have a really hard time getting through the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, I started it and
I'll go-
I stopped.
I'll go ahead and say, if you've read To Kill a Mockingbird to
Yeah.
completion, your mind will reject the Da Vinci Code, the book, like a baboon heart. You will not be able to enjoy it.
Well, that's interesting because you like the movie, but you don't.
I like the movie very much.
But you don't like the book, which is usually the opposite. People like the book better than the movie. They're better
Reading-
than the movie usually.
Reading a book is so much more of an intense experience of being inside someone's mind, I think, than a film. A film can be schlocky, cheesy, dumb. A film can be dumb and I still enjoy it. A book can't be dumb and then you still enjoy it. You're inside the person, like prose, the way someone constructs sentences.
Yeah, you're
very
right.
important.
Yeah, right. And that's a long time to stay with the same person.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
such a commitment.
Yeah, it's definitely
more
a
of
commitment.
it takes longer than 2 hours to read a book.
Right,
It's
exactly.
a big commitment.
So anyway, this movie.
Well, maybe not the Da Vinci Code. You can probably read that in 2 hours.
Well, it was huge controversy because it has to do with the Catholic religion. It came out at like either right after at peak time or all the priest molestation thing was going on, all that spotlight stuff.
And then you hit on one of the main reasons I like it.
What? That it had to do with the
No.
priest and molestation.
Sorry, yeah.
But it actually didn't. But it had to do with like
It actually has nothing to do with
it
that.
had nothing to do with the molestation. But anytime
It's
the
a
time
weird
it came
time.
out, people heard priest and they're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's a
You know,
weird
it was-
time, yeah.
Yeah.
But priests aren't portrayed in the best light in the Da Vinci Code.
They're portrayed. They're not portrayed in the best light.
No.
No. But it's Alfred Molina. That's the priest. That's not portrayed in the best light. He plays a bishop in the movie. Basically, what it's about is it's about like the historical aspects of the Catholic religion. So I don't know. A lot of you probably have read the book when it came out because it was so popular. But so the movie is about that as well. But my first problem with the movie is that it's super boring for like the first hour.
Oh,
like
I disagree with that. It's not boring at all.
It totally is.
It's not. It's not boring. Here's what I like about the Da Vinci Code. This is my first defense, all right? The Da Vinci Code, for me, is pretentious. And it's to me, the Da Vinci Code, the film, is both a stupid, dumb movie and pretentious in just the right way.
Okay.
I do want to learn about the hidden imagery in the Mona Lisa, in the Last Supper.
See, so do I. I like that stuff.
And that's what it's teaching you in those first moments you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what it was
So
like?
it's not boring to me. It's like an art history class.
No, I'm fine with that, but the story-wise, like what they're like the murder case story-wise, I was like, I'm bored by this right away.
The reason why you're bored by the murder case is because it's a laughably thin, makes no sense murder case.
The murder case plot, basically. Okay, let's do this. We'll start off like this. We usually do this
really
in the podcast.
The plot, it does not exist for you to like be hooked on the mystery or solve the mystery. It's not a mystery movie.
No,
it's not a mystery story. The plot exists to info dump.
Yes.
An art history course.
Yes, it's infotainment.
It is. That is exactly truly what it is. Yeah. And all of those Dan Brown films. I haven't read the books. I tried to read the Da Vinci Code once, but all of them are that. That's what they are.
Right. He knows a lot about that stuff. But here's the thing. All right, we're going to do this.
Okay.
As succinctly as you can you explain to Steven, this is we do this every podcast, if you can, explain the plot of the Da Vinci Code, the movie.
I certainly can.
Yeah.
A curator of the Louvre is pursued by a shadowy figure that murders him inside of the Louvre and leaves his body in the position of the Vitruvian Man. Leonardo da Vinci's The Vitruvian Man. Wait, is this going to take too long the way I'm doing it?
No, go ahead. Keep going. I'll jump in if I have to.
The chief detective on the case hunts down Robert Langdon, a visiting professor
Yeah.
of religious symbology, which is not at all something you can be a professor of.
You don't major in religious symbology.
There's no such thing as a religious symbologist.
Also, symbology sounds made up, that word.
It is. There's no... Well, the word symbology isn't made up. Like, people talk about the symbology in...
Right.
William Blake poems or whatever. But I'm just saying there's no college course on religious symbology. Anyway... He finds Robert Langdon, who has a fucking sweet vampire mullet. And
let's talk about that. That's the thing. Like, how do you ruin? You already with the hair. You ruined Tom Hanks.
I mean, I keep doing that.
You ruined Tom Hanks with the hair. It just looks like. It looks like when somebody has a wig. And it's Hollywood. They should have been able to get away with this. When somebody has a wig and everybody's talking about them, and they're like,
"Is it a wig?"
It's something. It's just his hair.
Tom Hanks has long hair in the film. And I like it because I feel like I'm watching Tom Hanks' midlife crisis. I'm like, uh-oh. Hanks was away from his wife.
Yeah, like in the
They're
movie.
We're going to be filming in Paris. And he's like, great, I can get some time alone to figure out what's happening here.
And grow out my hair and get an earring. And
exactly.
And go to Coachella.
I can't believe they didn't allow him to have an earring in the movie. Because I feel like Robert Langdon rocks a stud.
Would it solidify you if Robert Langdon had the long hair and earring and he just drove up in a Miata at some point and he was just going through?
I think a Miata is his automobile of choice. If you remember the one, we can almost call it a car chase in the movie, happens in a smart car.
It does. I was going to bring that up too. Like
Yeah.
the worst choice until you see the one part where she literally. It was actually kind of cool, and it redeemed itself because at one point there's these two trucks passing each other, and then Tom Hanks is like, "You're not gonna make it! You're not gonna make it!" And she flies. The woman that
Audrey Tautou.
Audrey Tautou. She flies in reverse through two trucks.
Yeah.
Never seen that before in a movie with a smart car. Also, they have the smart car going like 90 miles
Well,
per
that's
hour.
the thing. Yeah, it's probably not going to hit that fast.
There's no smart car owners that are like, I need more speed on this smart car.
So yeah, you've hit on another thing. Like, okay, so like that's the car sequence in the movie, the thrilling car chase or whatever, and it's her backing up. And you're right. Like, okay, I've never seen that. You just two trucks are coming and you go whoop through them real quick. Like the way
That was cool.
We're not doing it justice verbally. But when you see it, you'll be like, oh, I haven't really seen that.
You haven't seen it in a movie,
And the thing is, like, when the car chase started, I was like, oh, they're doing a bad version of the Bourne car chase from the Bourne Identity. Like, it's kind of cool to be on, like, European back streets in, like, a tiny car for a car chase. Not something you see a lot in American films and American car chases.
Yeah.
Very not the French Connection. But then, like, when they do it, like, in the Bourne Identity, it's so cool because they're, like, driving down these steps and these cobbled roads.
Yeah.
And when it started, when the Da Vinci Code car chase started, I was like, oh, they're doing bad Bourne Identity. But then they just have that one moment that pulls it out.
It was the
and says,
crescendo.
The crescendo. Because Ron Howard and the people that made the movie have they just always have just enough ingenuity to be like, well, wait, how is ours different? How do we make it like pop?
Well, that's the thing. Before we get back to the plot, that's the thing about it. Like, Ron Howard is a talented guy. Like, Ron Howard is.
I have a huge love-hate relationship with
I
him.
love Ron Howard. I think he's great.
But sometimes I
But
hate
you would
him.
say he's talented. He's a talented director.
Absolutely.
He's won Oscars.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, love Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Hate The Grinch.
Right. I didn't like The Grinch either.
Love Willow.
Okay.
Hate A Beautiful Mind.
Okay. All right. Well, what I'm saying is, but it's like how. Here's the thing:
Can I tell
you
you
can
something
admit
about
somebody
him?
has talent without liking everything they
Can
do.
I tell you that-
like, I don't like Dave Matthews Band, but I know they're talented.
I love them. Can I tell you the main thing that pisses me off about Ron Howard?
What's that?
Imagine Entertainment.
Why
That's
is
his
that?
company, and they're constantly putting little like featurettes on things and like little trailer things and making little commercials with it. Ron Howard's like, I just have always been in love with storytelling. You know what I mean? And you're like,
Oh, you mean
shut the fuck up about storytelling and the magic of film.
You're talking about like these folksy little interviews that they throw on,
And what's
that
so
end up
irritating
as
is
like
he's not even. Yeah, you're right. He's so folksy about it.
it's like, shut up! You were a child actor, and then you were just stayed in Hollywood.
And he got very good. I do think he's a talented
talented
director.
guy.
But
But-
sometimes I'm
but
like,
this
Ed
movie-
TV, what?
That's why you can like parts of this movie, because you're like, oh, it's a talented guy making a not so great movie. So you're gonna have certain sections of the movie that you're like, okay, yeah, that was decent, that was good. The people in it also lend that to
I would
also
say even the stuff I love, like I always half hate in some way anything Ron Howard does. It's always a controversy.
What about
for me.
Parenthood?
Parenthood, great.
Parenthood, there's nothing like. It's almost a perfect. It's such a great comedy.
Yeah.
Parenthood. We were talking about
You're
this
right.
last night.
That one, it's hard to find something to hate.
Parenthood. If I think it came out now, you ever see that thing where they talk about what movies, if they came out now, would be nominated for Oscars? And Parenthood, I think, is one of those. They say Groundhog Day is one of those.
Why would Parenthood be nominated for an Oscar now?
Because back in the day, they didn't nominate any kind of comedy for an Oscar, and that Parenthood has that feel to it, where it's a comedy, but also it's really well done, and the script's fantastic.
I think if Parenthood came out now, it would be a television show on a network that goes for like a couple seasons. He has like the guy from Sports Night in it,
yeah,
and the guy from Coach, but being dramatic,
and the guy from MTV, Dax Shepard.
he would be in it.
Yeah.
And Lauren Graham would probably be
yeah,
in it from
yeah,
Gilmore
and-
Girls.
Yeah, Craig T. Nelson. Yeah, right. You said
Yeah.
Coach. Yeah, right. You're right. You're probably right. If
But
that
we'll never
was to
know.
happen, we'll never know.
Never know. We'll never know what Parenthood would be like today.
So anyway, if you want to get back to the plot of the movie,
Oh yeah, because I think I left off in the prologue.
yeah, it was very, very quick. Yeah.
All right, so no. We got to the first scene. So the detective goes and gets Robert Langdon from a very well attended lecture. Lots of people want to see this guy speak,
Well, he's famous.
and he takes him back to the Louvre and he shows him an old man who's had a fucking what do you call it? Not pentagram carved into his belly, and is like, "What do you think went on here?" And what we find out is that the detective actually thinks that Hanks did it, and everybody knows that good detective work is if you think someone did it,
They did it.
take them to the scene of the crime and let them just kind of mess around. Oh, and then, by the way, leave them unattended. Leave them unattended, because he also does that. Anyway, while he's there at the Louvre looking at this terrible crime scene, Tom Hanks meets Audrey Tautou, the actress from Amélie. And she is a police photographer, but there's also more to her character.
Yes.
She reveals to him that he's actually a suspect because originally the crime scene said to seek out Robert Langdon in some way. I forget how.
Yeah. The crime scene said that?
Or someone left a message.
No, what happened
detective.
was
It's been a little
yeah,
while.
Alfred Molina told the detective that Robert Langdon came in and confessed. Did a confessional and said Robert Langdon murdered.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have to make an escape from the Louvre, and then they have to follow down these clues. Now, to get into these clues would take all night, but basically there's like
It's all this
clues-
cryptology.
Yeah, there's
type
all these
stuff.
clues in the paintings and ciphers, and it's constantly people saying something like, it's an anagram. You know what I mean?
There's
in
tons
the way
of
that
anagrams.
no one ever does.
Yeah, and they have, and for some reason, Robert Langdon has like super vision. Like they show him where he
Oh,
literally
I hate that device.
He just looks at a phrase and he's like, "No, that's not it." That's the thing that's crazy
They'll
about
show
this.
like he'll look at letters or numbers, and then the movie does this stylistic thing where they like light up, and
Yeah.
then they change places like magic letters or like Wheel of Fortune, and then he goes aha, and then he tells you.
And the thing about it is Tom Hanks, great actor.
I mean, you
Solid
have to be
actor.
to play this role.
But in this movie, there's moments where he's not. It's like he's losing it. It's almost either he phoned it in and he was futzing it up. There's a part where he goes to the bathroom and she's trying to tell him like you're a suspect and this guy's and the cop is after you and he thinks you did it. And the minute he walks in the bathroom with her, when she tries to tell him this in private, she goes, "He's after you and they're tracking you right now." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" Like the way he says it is so.
He says it like that?
Yeah, he says it really weird.
Could
He's
you
like,
say it
"What
like
are you-"
that one more time so I can remember?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Like it says it so weird. I'm like, that's not Tom Hanks. The Tom Hanks I know.
Well, here's what I think happened. The role he's playing is mostly long info dumps about art history.
Yes.
So
it's a
think,
lot
like,
of copy to remember.
Right. So I think that like actual acting, he was rusty on it because most of his lines were like, yes, the Priory of Sion. They're a
Yes.
secret society that has existed to protect a secret called
becomes-
the Dark Con of Man.
It becomes
Like,
a Wu-Tang Clan song. It's everything.
Priory of Sion's my favorite Wu-Tang Clan song.
The RZA, the Jizza, the Priory of Sion.
Literally, like every line in the fucking script for poor Tom Hanks is like a paragraph of text.
You're right.
That's like many leaders were in their ranks. Sir Isaac Newton, for example. The apple represents the first sin.
And you're right. Let's be honest. That's why you're watching this, because you want that info. Like this is like a way heavier National Treasure. That's how I feel about it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like But here's the thing.
I think it's
National
also
Treasure-
a dumb movie that makes people feel smart.
I think you're
And
absolutely
Sean,
right.
There's nothing that Jared Logan likes more than feeling real fucking smart. He loves to feel smart.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing it in like sort of a cheap, whorish way like this film.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take it all day long.
So basically, they're being chased down the whole
Yes.
time. So the whole thing is that they're being chased. He's thought of as the only suspect,
to
and
go to
he's
a
the guy who did
bank.
it. They have to go.
The next clue is at a bank.
Oh yeah, they go all over. They're in France at first by the Louvre. Then they go. We're gonna go to they don't go to a bank. They go to a bank.
I think it's a
Oh my
bank.
God, I just saw it. And there's so much to this movie.
Deposit box where they find
yes,
the
they go to like the oldest bank in France or something, and
Yes.
because they have a key
They have
that has a
key.
code on it.
Oh, and they found the key behind the painting. Because, of course, the Louvre has a painting that just someone stowed a magical key behind.
yeah.
And when you move the painting, no alarm goes off. Nothing bad happens to you. You just find the key. So they go to this
Apparently,
same-
there was a scene where they had to get out of the museum, and the way they do it is Emily, whatever her name is, Amelie.
Audrey
She
Tautou.
threatens the security guards are after them, and she threatens to destroy a Da Vinci painting to try to get out of the.
Did they remove that scene?
Yeah, they removed it. Yeah, they got rid of it. I think there's a reason why. I forget why, but
Well, I know why.
why?
Why would you ever threaten to destroy art?
You said the principle of it. They just got rid of it.
I think. I mean, I honestly
It's a
think that
possibility
could be
if it doesn't fit
You know
the
who
tone of the
destroys art,
characters.
Sean? You know who destroys artifacts?
Fascists.
ISIS.
This is the most anti-ISIS movie I've seen. You're right, so I'm glad they got rid of it.
Well, they didn't exist at the time, but this sort of
They were there.
preordains them.
This
I'm going
preordains.
to go with preordain as a word there.
Yeah, it works. So then they're on the run. They go to this bank. They have the key. It's a high-tech bank, but it's been around for they imply the bank has been around for like thousands of years.
Which it has.
Which it has, right. So like
Every Dan Brown detail is well researched,
Yes. So
including the fact that albinos are evil.
we didn't even get to that.
Oh, we will.
The guy who's doing the church's bidding is an albino, and he's
Yes.
who purposely puts himself through pain so he suffers like Jesus did.
Yes, he's a flagellant.
Is that what it's called? Flagellant?
Yeah, that's one way to say it. Yes.
Yeah.
He's someone who, hurts his body to achieve religious ecstasy.
It's very creepy. That's where like the weird sexual vibe comes in. 'Cause you're like, well, this is almost S&M-y, but it's not.
Well, there were monks that did that in
Yeah.
history. That would flog themselves or something like that.
Right, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So they
Have
go
you
to
ever
this.
tried it?
No, have I? No, I haven't. Have
you
you?
ever, like, hit yourself with a whip just to kind of see God? See Jesus? No,
Have you done that?
It's okay.
Did you see God when you did it?
It's like a drug.
Really?
Just, you get so fucking high. You get so fucking high. You need to use a good cat of nine tails. You can't use like a cheapie.
Where are you picking up a cat of nine tails?
Oh, there's places.
What do you have a medieval shop? I know you're into Dungeons and Dragons,
I
but
can get you a cat of nine tails in like 2 hours.
wait, you have a cat nine tails guy?
I have a guy. I can get you a cat of nine tails. I can get you a rack.
A rack as well?
Yeah.
Where am I going to put a rack in my apartment?
As in the rack.
I live in New York City. There's no spot for a rack.
That's the problem.
One bedroom apartment.
That's one of the advantages of LA.
Yeah, you more space.
More room for torture devices.
That's why you moved here, right?
Yeah.
Because you have cat of nine tails,
Yeah.
the rack, and then also the stick with the spiky ball on the end.
Yeah, that's a Morning Star.
Oh my god, I can't believe you know that. I've never heard that word in my life.
A Morning Star?
Morning Star, yeah.
And the only time you've heard Morning Star is with Morning Star sausage patties.
You're right. And those are delicious. No pain in those patties.
Yeah, so, yeah.
So what happens is they go to this bank. It's like really high tech. They
Yeah.
find basically it's a code. What would you call it? A
Basically,
codec?
I would call
it's a case that has a
cryptex.
cryptex. It has it's on the outside. It has
It's a Chinese finger trap with special writing on it.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of when I saw it.
That's what it is.
It's basically just a box that has 26 letters on it, and either way, so it has like 9 million combinations or something crazy like that. So nobody can. But inside is a clue to. We'll just fast forward. Basically, it's a clue to what they're chasing down is the Holy Grail, and what you find out from this movie. And this is what's cool about the movie, because you find out the Holy Grail isn't like an Indiana Jones where it's just a chalice that brings you everlasting life.
Mm-hmm.
What it ends up being is they're protecting the bloodline of Jesus.
Yes.
Which is really a cool idea.
Because Jesus, he liked to fuck. Jesus liked to fuck, dude.
You don't have hair like that and not like to, you don't go shirtless and
You
have
don't-
amazing flowing
You don't
hair.
dress only in flowing diaphanous
Yeah,
robes
yeah.
and not like to fuck.
You don't dress like you live in a famous person's guest house. That's what Jesus looked like. Like he was just in like I don't know Debbie Gibson's guest house.
He was the Cato Kalin of the first century
He
AD.
was. That's if you learn nothing else from this podcast, just learn Jesus was and Cato Kalin are the same person.
Jesus likes to fuck.
So what happens is they're being chased down. They have this cryptex. They end up going for help to it's not John Hurt. It's John
Sir Ian McKellen.
Sir Ian McKellen. I'm sorry.
A.K.A. Magneto, A.K.A.
Magneto.
Gandalf.
Right.
Right?
They go.
I'm correct
There's
on
two
that.
comic book people. There's Dr. Octopus and Magneto. in
Dr.
this.
Octopus and Magneto are in this. Unfortunately, they do not use their powers.
No.
They mostly, yeah.
They mostly just
conspire.
They conspire and they trick
Conspiratorially.
albinos into killing people.
That's right.
Anyway, they go to his house, and he's like another historian, and he's handicapped. He's got two canes that he walks around on. You get the vibe. Him and Tom Hanks are old friends. They need help, I think, trying to figure out the box.
They are.
to
They're
figure-
colleagues.
Yeah, they're colleagues, yeah.
And he's the one that explains that the Holy Grail is not a cup.
It's not a physical
It's
object.
actually
Yeah.
a vajayjay.
That's basically what they say. They say there's two symbols for man and woman, and the man one is supposed to be like a penis, and the woman is supposed to be it's a V, which basically
Yeah.
is vagina.
Because everything is a penis or a vagina.
And what they're protecting, and then he has Emily look at the Last Supper painting and tells her Amelie, the person right to Jesus' left in the Last Supper, that's Mary Magdalene, and they were together. That was his wife.
Can I just tell you, I'm really happy that you've decided to just call her Amelie.
Because I think it'll make people don't know the character name, so they know who Amelie is from the movie.
I don't remember the character name.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, blah blah blah. A lot of fucking people attack them and stuff.
Yeah. Well, one of the things is,
and then they go.
I
to
love it
Scotland.
because so basically, the thing I thought would be really
I
funny.
think they're in Scotland at the end.
They end up in England. They go to England.
Yes.
They go from France to England. They were going to go to Zurich for some weird reason.
They go from Phoenix, Arizona,
all the way to Sonoma,
then Zurich, then Leuven, then England.
And so they end up.
I wish they'd do one of these movies about America.
They should. They should have a Da Vinci Code.
I like American
But
films.
the Da Vinci is just some Italian guy from Jersey. That's what it is. It's the Bill Da Vinci
my
Code.
buddy Eddie Da Vinci.
Well, that's what I think is so funny, because in this box, this cryptic box, is almost like a clue to the identity of Jesus' lineage. So it'd be so funny to me. Like, and the whole time you're wondering, you're like, I know it's going to be something crazy that's revealed. To me, it'd be funny if they just revealed, like, they opened up the box and it was just a little piece of paper that said Doris Greenblatt of Parsippany, New Jersey. And they is Jesus'
is the
relative.
Scion of Christ.
And they get there and they're like Doris. Like, you play Doris,
She's
I'll
like,
be
do you
me.
want something? Do you want to have?
I have coffee
Coke
cake.
Zero. I've got. Do you like nutty bars?
You like nutty? It's actually Nutrageous is the real name of the bar.
I work.
I work at the DMV.
Yeah.
And I have 2 kids, so I got more of Jesus kids. You know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that would be hilarious to me if that was the case. If they just found that out. It's like, all right, movie over. It's just this random lady in Jersey.
Conveniently, spoiler alert, the actual Scion of Christ, offspring of Jesus, progeny of Jesus,
is
Amelie.
Amelie.
And I choose to believe that the movie Amelie is connected in the same universe as this one.
That'd be great because she's magical in Amelie.
She is a magic hipster dream girl.
Yeah. So it would make complete sense if
that she has Jesus powers.
That's what she turned into.
It makes sense, yeah.
So what you end up finding out is that the person that she thinks was her grandfather, the guy who got murdered, she knew him as her grandfather. Mm-hmm. But what it turns out is he wasn't. He was part of the, priory?
The priory of Sion.
The priory. And she was
guard the dark con of man.
People thought she was dead because they were trying to kill her, and they thought they killed the whole family. And the priory... made sure she wasn't.
The plot information you're sharing right now just feels like it's so confusing.
It is. That's what I'm saying. There's so much to this movie.
The original creator of the cup, who found the anagram in the Louvre. It turns out the bank held the cryptex. That led them to the albino. It's a word soup of insanity.
So if you had to do it in a really short way,
it makes sense if you watch carefully, but really it's sort of, the plot is a mess.
Basically what it is the 2 sides of the church are chasing them down. Oh, no. The one side of the church that wants to get rid of Jesus' lineage. Opus Dei wants to get rid of Jesus' lineage and not to have the public know that he had a wife and a baby on the way when he got crucified. And the other side, the priory, is trying to protect that lineage.
And they are a secret society. They seem to be more rationalist because, like, Sir Isaac Newton was a member at some point or something like that.
So and they're being chased down and this little piece they have, which they call it something in film. I forget the name of it, where it's like you have this one object and everybody in the movie wants... The MacGuffin, right. Everybody wants this one object. They're being chased down for the MacGuffin, for the little cryptex thing, and all this information just pouring out as they're being chased down. So it's literally just there's historical information, there's story with this girl's life, and then because... Honestly, the last part of this movie, it could have ended like 3 different times. Oh, yeah. Because literally you find out the whole time there's this villain that's part of the Opus Dei, the teacher, who's controlling the whole thing. Yes. And then you find out Ian McClellan is the teacher, and he's been pulling the strings to make it seem like it's the other side.
This has one of those, you don't really see it coming in the movie because the movie is well crafted. Like we said, Ron Howard is a good director.
Right.
The actors are good. But if you are familiar with these types of stories, these types of like kind of thriller type stories, you know someone has to betray the hero.
Right.
And you know it's going to be the fucking guy where they go to his house and they spend a lot of time and shit like that. And so if it inevitably happens that Sir Ian McKellen betrays them, and it turns out that he's like the main villain.
And he's also doing it for his own reasons. Yeah, he's the one who, from the beginning of the story, he's the one who murdered the old man and set him up like the Da Vinci artwork.
Just to reiterate, the guy that Tom Hanks independently goes to consult is also the man that started the plot by murdering the first guy.
And it makes no sense. Yeah. And his agenda is he wants to find out the lineage so he can go public with it, and people won't be oppressed by the church anymore. That's his thing. So he still has the same belief system, which, to be honest, is actually I'll give you that as far as defense of this movie. At least he didn't turn out he was just on the evil side. That's an easy way to do it.
Right.
It didn't turn out he's like, I've been tricking this whole time, and I actually believe what Alfred Molina believes, which is what Opus Dei does, which is they don't want the lineage to get out there. At least it was like, hey, no, I still have the same beliefs. I'm just an evil version of these beliefs.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So he does that. They get him. The cops get him, they arrest him, and then they go chase down the lineage. They go chase down what's in the cryptex, because Tom Hanks, sleight of hand, gets the map out of the cryptex.
Always, all of these fucking movies have a part where someone's like, but I already stole it. Like,
yeah.
Sleight of hand. You're like, you're a professor of religious symbology.
Yeah, easy, David Blaine.
When did you get mind freak powers?
Easy, Chris, what's his name? Chris Angel.
Chris Angel, baby.
Actually, does it make sense? Oh my God.
Yes.
Da Vinci Code, Chris Angel. Oh my God.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. So there's still, once they catch Ian McKellen, there's still 20 minutes left of this movie where they go to the church where they think that Mary Magdalene is buried, and they find out, they go down, it's the Knights of Templar Church, and they go there, and they go down, and they find out the info about her family, which is what we told you, which is that wasn't her grandfather that died, that got murdered. It was actually...
You've lost me, and I've seen the movie twice.
Well,
I like this movie, and I'm like, what? Yeah, I think that happens.
Well, here's the thing. But I just saw it. That does happen.
No, I'm sure you're right. I'm just saying, like, it's so confusing.
It's super confusing, but
Look,
also I'm bad at
that every
relaying
once
it.
in a while, Audrey Tautou goes, the sacred feminine. And you're just supposed to go like, yes, the sacred feminine, a metaphysical concept we all talk about offhandedly when we are police photographers.
Well, here's the thing also is I'm also very bad at telling a synopsis. I'm doing it off the top of my head. And
You're bad at a synopsis. You have a movie podcast.
I know, it's really not good. I think I'm going to have to type it up or just read it off of something from now on, because I get critiqued all the time. People will write and they'll be like, yeah, you're just not good at... one
People
person
write that to you?
Yeah. One person...
Who the fuck? Who the fuck goes, oh, that was it. I have some notes for him.
Well,
dear person I've never met.
Somebody just reviewed the podcast and said you're not good at reviewing the podcast, and I go, well, it's not a review. We're not reviewing it. We're defending it. Yeah, but I'm not reviewing it like Ebert would or something like that.
Can I tell a story about this film that I feel
yes, you can. Please do.
I feel is very revealing about this film, the process to make this film. The Da Vinci Code debuted at Cannes the year that it was made.
It was the first movie debuted. I read that online.
It started off the Cannes Festival, and they arrived, the Da Vinci Code, the entire cast and crew and everything, in a train into the town of Cannes, and there was this big hubbub. Now, if you know the Cannes Film Festival, and believe me, I do, you know that it does, like, very serious filmmakers go there and do very serious art films. And here comes this fucking American movie by Ron Howard. I was in the Andy Griffith Show. And it's kind of like this American's view of what Europe is. Like,
yeah.
It's kind of like a dumb American's like, I ain't going over to no France. fucking some Catholic priest albino is going to try to stab me. You know what I mean?
Pittsburgh, not Paris.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Hey, I'm representing the citizens of Pittsburgh. And fucking the Da Vinci Code, the film, is representing the citizens of Pittsburgh. What represent? And it's just really funny to me that they got to start off the Cannes Film Festival, which is a serious European film festival, with this. Sometimes I say the Big Bang Theory is nerd face.
That's like blackface. This is European face. Is that what you're saying?
I would say that the Da Vinci Code, the film, is European face.
Well,
yes.
Well, they use what's his name? Reno. What's the guy's name?
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno. He's a French actor.
He's
Good actor.
contractually obligated to be in any film that involves the French. He represents all French people.
Well, the thing about, I think you're right, and I think also that proves why it needs defending, because it means that they, I think, thought it would be taken as like a serious, like, hey, we're doing
Certainly.
a good thing here, and this is this is a very, like you said, this is a very smart movie.
It's not, though. It's a dumb movie that makes you feel smart.
Right.
And that is how I defend it. I say that if you like to feel smart, because there's a lot of movies that make you feel excited.
But if you
or
know,
that make you feel sad, or that make you feel happy.
I know that's a reason to defend it, because if you know it's dumb, but it makes you feel smart, if you're
like
aware of it.
You don't like to feel smart?
Of course I like to feel.
But I don't like when someone goes, "Oh my God, you're so smart." When someone goes, "Oh, I mean, of course you understand," and you're like, "Ah, yes, photosynthesis," and they're like, "Of course," like that feels good. It's fun to feel smart, and the Da Vinci Code just like a whore. Just gives you. It's just like you're. God! You're so smart.
A celluloid whore.
Oh, you know everything about the Opus Dei. You like paintings? You like paintings? Yeah.
This is all the culture you need in one movie.
Yeah. You got your culture for the decade, hombre.
So I think you're right. I absolutely think you're right, but. Also, the way that you can also say how bullshit the whole film business is, because there's political reasons why it went there, and it was the first movie they played at Cannes.
Why?
Because it's Ron Howard, and he has that reputation, and it's not like somebody took a look at it. They're like, we can't show this here. They were like, no, nobody's questioning anything.
Oh yeah, but it's indicative of the U.S.'s entire relationship with Europe. It's like it's kind of like. You do what we say, and we have a fucking movie about fucking, start off Cannes with it. We know what Europe-y stuff is like. An even better example is if you watch Inglourious Bastards with Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
The way that he portrays the American soldiers in that is like kind of this funny satire of how Americans treat Europeans, how they treat that culture.
Yeah, but you mean it's done right.
Yes, I agree. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's the least Tarantino-ish movie that I've ever seen. Like that's the least Tarantino out of all the Tarantino movies. I think
that guy. I love Tarantino.
I love him.
Yeah,
but I'm saying I didn't expect it to be like that.
Yeah,
it's not as campy as he's done in the past.
No, I agree. I thought that the movie was going to Inglourious Bastards. I thought that film was going to be about these crazy like American soldiers like taking down Nazis in sort of a pulp action-y kind of a deal. It wasn't at all. It was kind of a commentary on Americans and that
and it was acted very well and it was written very well and he said when he was writing it he was basing it off of spaghetti westerns, and that's why I think I thought it was going to be more like you just said, like the action-y and spaghetti westerns.
You thought there was going to be more nudity, didn't you?
I thought more boobs. Yeah, I was really looking forward to some boobs.
Yeah,
that's what I do. Like I'll only watch movies if there's boobs.
And that's why. Now, this podcast was originally.
It was called Defend Your Boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Defend Your Boob Movie.
Yeah.
So you had to come on with a movie that had a lot of boobs in it, like Just One of the Guys, which is a famous.
Sure.
Like you come on that, that's the Holy Grail. Speaking of Holy Grails,
but people felt it was sexist. The Defend Your Boobs podcast.
Well, the first one was Defend Your Tit movie.
Yeah.
And then I thought that I was being better by saying boob movie. I'm like, it's like for the kids. And then I went to just Defend Your Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I think I like the cuts.
I
like that it's not about about breasts.
It rolls off the tongue better. Yeah, it's not just about tits.
Yeah, it does roll off the tongue better than Defend Your Tit movie. Defend Your Movie does sound better than that.
Here, let's do this. I want to. This is the thing. People get mad at me for how I explain. Not people. One person wrote to me, and I just can't take not being liked, so I freak out. If I'm Tom Hanks, okay, pitch to me what I'm Tom Hanks. I'm deciding whether or not to do this movie. There must have been a moment where he was pitched. If you're pitching to Tom Hanks, tell me what the movie's about. Trying to sell it to me of why me, Tom Hanks, should do the movie.
Tom, this movie. I mean, of course, you're aware of the novel, and you're aware of what a phenomenon the novel was. This movie is going to be a cultural event, no matter who stars in it. We need this movie to appeal to America, and we really feel like Langdon is sort of this everyman, and so you're perfect for it. And frankly, there's few actors that are going to be able to deliver a lot of this dialogue because it's very kind of complicated. We need someone who can make it less pretentious.
What kind of hair do I get?
Out here.
What kind of hair do I
you
get?
And I, what's that?
What kind of hair do I get?
You rock a mullet. You rock a vampire mullet the whole time.
Vampire mullet. What's that?
Have you ever seen Interview with a Vampire?
Yes, I have 3 times.
A little jealous of Tom and Cruise and Brad Pitt in that, maybe a little bit at the hair.
At the time, yeah, all right.
This is your.
So your selling point is a vampire mullet for me to do this movie.
I believe I said some other things.
I'll
before
do
that.
it. I'll do it.
You brought up the
You
hair.
said you had me at vamp. You had me at not even the whole thing.
So your working theory, Sean, is that Tom Cruise did the film because he mistakenly thought it was a vampire movie.
Yeah, he thought it was a.
That's fair.
That would be more interesting if they uncovered vampires. That would have been. I would have enjoyed that better than this movie if it was like From Dusk Till Dawn. You know the original.
Well,
the
then
original,
maybe you would enjoy John Carpenter's Vampires, which is about Catholic vampire hunters.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? The original From Dusk Till Dawn idea was they weren't going to tell you it was a vampire movie.
Well, they don't.
No, they did. They do in the trailer. They did.
Oh,
Because
they were going to tell you in the marketing.
In the
that
marketing,
it's a vampire
and
movie.
then when you got there, you would notice it was.
You
a
know
vampire
what's
movie.
funny is I'm one of the few people that went into From Dusk Till Dawn.
I saw it 5 times in the theaters.
Yeah, I went into it without knowing what the movie was.
Oh, you did,
Yes,
and were you pleasantly surprised?
because I was snuck in a duffel bag, and they.
Were you? Was this on
I've
the
been
U.S.
living-
Mexico border? Where was this?
Okay, so
Snuck in a duffel bag.
so From Dusk Till Dawn was the first movie I ever saw, and up until that point, I'd been living in a lightless cellar, and I had not been taught language, or I had never interacted with another human being.
No Netflix.
And then I was no
Or internet?
Netflix,
No internet?
no lights. And I was snuck into a showing of From Dusk Till Dawn in a duffel bag.
Yeah.
They unzipped it. Whoever did it ran off. I've never found out. And my first experience of society was watching that film.
Wow.
So I was not spoiled before I went in.
That's remarkable.
I didn't even know what vampires were. I was like, "Whoa!
You thought it was-
Is it real? Will it get me?" It was
thought it was
very terrifying.
You thought it
for
was a
me.
documentary, and you didn't know what a documentary was. You're like, I know this
Sean, I
seems
didn't
real to
think
me.
It was a documentary. I thought the people on the screen were people trying to talk to me in the room. I wasn't aware of media.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap up by doing this. Normally, what I'll do is I'll ask you at the end 3 reasons
Yes.
why 3 reasons that like you can bring up the other one you said before, but like 3 reasons that's not just like it has Tom Hanks or like at the cast or the whatever.
Wait, it has Tom Hanks. Is not a good enough reason.
No, it's not for this movie.
Okay.
So give
I'll
me 3
give my
reasons.
3 reasons.
Yeah, 3 reasons of why
2
somebody.
of which are kind of off the top of my head, I
No,
guess.
Yeah, go off the top of your head. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not meant to stick to it quite crazy.
3 reasons. First of all, it makes you feel smart.
Okay,
Second of
that's
all,
a unique reason.
Second of all, it actually does educate a little bit.
You might have to do 2.
More than blockbusters.
Does that
normally
contradict
do.
your first reason?
Not
No,
at
I guess
all.
it doesn't because
Makes you feel smart, but it also
it
truly
does.
educate.
Okay.
And the third reason, it's one of the few movies in the canon of what I call evil albino movies. Which
canon?
include Lethal Weapon, The Firm, Matrix Reloaded, The Princess Bride, and Powder.
And what? You just have You made your own box, and you have the DVDs of those movies.
What if
and you
those are
just
the
go-
only movies I owned? Like you look at my shelf and there's no
What about,
movies.
what about Me, Myself, and Irene? That has an albino in it.
It does?
Yeah. Oh my
yeah,
god.
it does.
Yeah. Well, they call him Whitey in the movie.
Yes, they do.
We just did Powder. Powder. We just did that as one of the movies on the podcast.
I remember really liking Powder. And he's not evil in it, but they think he's evil, so I included in the evil albino
The weird
movies
part about Powder,
canon.
all he is
The weird
just an
part about Powder
Yeah.
is how that sentence started.
is that everybody is so horrified by him, but it's just white makeup. Like they didn't even. It's not like he's the Elephant Man.
Oh, well, but you
They
could
did a
see
really
how people
poor
would be
makeup
freaked
job.
out by someone who has weird skin.
They didn't make him look like an actual albino. Like in this one, they put the pink eyelashes and all that. Like in Powder, it's just he doesn't look like that at all. It's not.
You're
I think
right.
he's done a
That
better
is the
makeup
one
job.
weird thing about Powder.
And also, well, the thing we talked about the whole podcast was that it's directed by a pedophile.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you for
That's the weird thing about Powder.
thank you for doing this, man. Did you have fun?
Oh, I had a blast. Did
Awesome.
I defend it well?
You did. You did.
All right.
You had 3 really good reasons.
Hey.
And Steven, you've seen this movie already, right? Have you seen it? Yes. Okay, you've seen it. So I'm not going to ask you if you watch it. Maybe we'll tell Farrah, hey, listen to the podcast, and then if she's going to watch it, if she's convinced by what you said. What would you like to plug, my friend?
Oh, geez. I have a podcast called The Secret Masters. You can get that everywhere podcasts are sold. And
What's your Twitter?
My Twitter is @Jared Logan. Yeah.
Awesome. And you have a website or anything else you want to do? Or
Yeah.
live dates?
Well,
This will come out on Friday.
Right. Oh, great. I'm at the Vermont Comedy Club in Burlington, Vermont, 6/29 through 7/1. It might be 6/28 through 7/1, and I'm recording my new comedy album there. So please come to those shows. They're going to be really good, I promise.
Which you're going to call the album Albino Canon, aren't you?
I'm going to call it, Evil Albino Canon. I'm going to call it The Weird Thing About Powder.
Well, that's it for the show. You know there's an email for the show. It's defendyourmovie@gmail.com. We're at defendyourmovie on Twitter. You can tweet to me at ShawneeTime. Please let us know what movies you would defend. Let us know what you think of the ones we're doing. Give us a heads up. Also, you can hear us on Showbiz Studios that also has a new YouTube channel. Alex does that. Thank you so much for Steven for helping me out and recording this today. That's about it. And we will, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.